Summary and analysis of Hamlet by Shakespeare. The story begins in a cold, eerie night outside Elsinore Castle in Denmark. The guards see a ghost wandering the walls. It's not just any ghost, it looks exactly like the recently dead king of Denmark. They call Prince Hamlet, the king's son, to see it. When Hamlet meets the ghost speaks. It tells him that Claudius, Hamlet's own uncle, murdered the king by pouring poison into his ear while he slept. And now Claudius wears the crown and has married Queen Gertrude, Hamlet's mother. Hamlet is shattered, but he doesn't rush into revenge. He is careful, doubtful. He wonders if the ghost might be lying. What if it's an evil spirit trying to trick him? Hamlet decides to pretend he is mad, to buy himself some time and observe. As Hamlet acts crazy, Claudius and his allies start spying on him. Hamlet then arranges for a group of actors to perform a play at the castle. The play reenacts a scene similar to his father's murder, a king being killed by poison. As the scene plays out, Claudius stands up, panicked and guilty. Hamlet now knows the ghost was telling the truth. Yet even with proof, Hamlet hesitates. At one point, he finds Claudius alone, praying. He lifts his sword to kill him, but stops. If Claudius dies while praying, Hamlet fears his soul might go to heaven. Hamlet wants real revenge, not mercy. Later, Hamlet confronts his mother, Queen Gertrude, in her bedroom. Hearing a noise behind a curtain, Hamlet thinks it's Claudius spying. He stabs blindly, but it's not Claudius. It's Polonius, the king's advisor. Hamlet has killed the wrong man. This mistake sets off a chain reaction. Ophelia, Polonius' daughter and Hamlet's love, goes mad with grief and drowns. Laertes, Ophelia's brother, returns to Denmark furious and ready for revenge. Meanwhile, Claudius, realizing Hamlet is too dangerous, sends him away to England with secret orders to have him killed. But Hamlet outsmarts the plot and returns to Denmark. Claudius then arranges a deadly fencing match between Hamlet and Laertes. Laertes' sword is poisoned. Just in case Hamlet survives, Claudius also poisons a cup of wine. During the match, Laertes wounds Hamlet with a poisoned blade. In the chaos, they switch swords and Laertes is wounded too. Queen Gertrude accidentally drinks from the poisoned cup and dies. Laertes, realizing he is dying, confesses everything. In his final moments, Hamlet kills Claudius at last. Then Hamlet collapses. His last words to his friend Horatio are simple and haunting. The rest is silence. Almost everyone is dead. Fortinbras, a prince from Norway, arrives to find Denmark's royal family destroyed. The story ends not with hope, but with silence and loss. So what's the play really about? Hamlet is about revenge, yes, but it's also about hesitation, about thinking too much and doing too little, about being paralyzed between right and wrong, life and death, truth and doubt. It's a play about being stuck, about wanting to act but fearing the consequences, about feeling betrayed by the people you should have been able to trust. It's about death, not just fear of dying, but the fear of living wrongly. Why is Hamlet so popular? I think it's because Hamlet feels like one of us. He is not a fearless hero. He is a broken man trying to make sense of a broken world. He doubts himself, he overthinks, he talks to himself more than he talks to others. We recognize that voice inside him, the one that's afraid, the one that second guesses everything. Even after 400 years, Hamlet still sounds like someone we know. Who are the important characters? There is Hamlet, of course, the prince trapped in his own mind. Claudius, the uncle who kills for the throne. Gertrude, the mother who marries too quickly. Polonius, the meddling advisor. Ophelia, Polonius' daughter and lover of Hamlet, the innocent soul destroyed by the games of the powerful. Laertes, the vengeful brother. Horatio, the loyal friend who stays alive to tell the story. and Fortinbras, who steps in after the kingdom collapses. Each character plays a part in Hamlet's downfall. Each one pushes the story a little closer to the edge. Where is Hamlet set? The play is set in Denmark, almost entirely inside Elsinore's castle. It's cold, it's dark, it feels trapped, claustrophobic. A perfect place for a story about suspicion and betrayal. The setting adds to the sense that there is no escape, not for Hamlet, not for anyone. Why do some people find the language of the play difficult? When I first read Hamlet, it felt heavy too. That's because Shakespeare's English is different from ours. He wrote in the early 1600s when the language was richer, more musical, more formal. Important characters like Hamlet spoke in a rhythm called iambic pentameter. It sounds fancy now, but back then it gave weight to their emotions. When Hamlet says, to be or not to be, that's the question. He's not showing off, he's speaking from a place of real pain. Once you get used to it, the language actually makes the emotions feel deeper. How many acts does the play have? There are 5 acts in Hamlet. In Act 1, Hamlet meets the ghost and learns the truth of his father's murder by his own brother Claudius. In Act 2, he pretends to be mad and plots. In Act 3, he confirms Claudius's guilt and accidentally kills Polonius. In Act 4, Ophelia dies and Hamlet is sent away. In Act 5, the deadly duel happens and almost everyone dies. Each act pulls us deeper into Hamlet's mind and closer to the tragedy we can feel coming but can't stop. Famous quotes from Hamlet. To be or not to be, that is the question. This is perhaps the most famous line from the play. The line is spoken by Hamlet in Act 3, Scene 1, when he is alone and talking to himself. Hamlet is so depressed that he is thinking of ending his life. To be means to continue living, or not to be means not to live. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. This line is spoken early in the play by a character named Marcellus, one of the guards at Elsinore Castle. People often use this line when they feel that something is wrong, corrupt or dishonest, even if they don't have proof yet, like a gut feeling. The lady doth protest too much, methinks. Hamlet's mother Gertrude says this line when she watches the play. It captures the sentiment of how sometimes people reveal too much when they are trying too hard to lie. The actor in the play, playing Queen, swears again and again that she would never marry if her husband dies. She does so much overacting that Queen Gertrude says, "The lady doth protest too much, methinks," which means the Queen thinks that the lady in the play is overacting. In real life too, sometimes people try so hard to hide a lie that it becomes obvious to everyone. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. This is quite straightforward. Hamlet speaks this line in Act 2, Scene 2. At this point of the play, Hamlet feels trapped. He is stuck in Denmark, unable to act, and surrounded by spies and lies. He tells his friends that Denmark feels like a prison to him. But he also admits it's not Denmark itself that's the problem. It's how he is thinking about it. This line is sometimes used literally because our experience of life is shaped by our own thoughts. Though this is madness, yet there is method in it. This line is spoken by Polonius when watching Hamlet, who is pretending to be crazy. Even in Hamlet's madness, to Polonius, there seems to exist a pattern, a logic, a hidden purpose. You must have often come across this phrase, "There is a method to this madness," which means it may look crazy, but there is actually a plan or logic behind it. Each of these lines captures a piece of the play's heart: doubt, suspicion, madness, truth. Why is Hamlet so important in literature? Before Hamlet, heroes in stories were simple. They were good or evil, brave or cowardly. Hamlet was different. He was confused, he was angry, he was broken, he was human. Shakespeare showed that a hero could have doubts, could wrestle with fears, could fall apart. Is Hamlet a tragedy? Yes, Hamlet is absolutely a tragedy. In fact, it's one of the most famous tragedies ever written. Here is why. Hamlet, the hero, starts with good intentions. He wants to honor his father and set things right. But because of doubt, hesitation, betrayal, or circumstance, everything goes wrong. Instead of saving the kingdom, he causes more suffering. By the end, almost everyone he loves is dead: Ophelia, Gertrude, Laertes, even himself. Denmark is left broken, and strangers take over the throne. There is no real victory at the end, no happy resolution, just silence. Hamlet's story is the perfect example of how a good person can be destroyed by their own mind, their own doubts, and the corruption of the world around them. After Hamlet, literature was never the same. Characters began to appear as real, complicated, and alive inside, with all human frailties, strengths, and faults. Here is how Hamlet fits into the classical structure of a tragedy. A great person with a high status. In a classical tragedy, the hero is usually someone important. Hamlet is a prince, next in line for the throne of Denmark. He has power, respect, and future. A fatal flaw, what the Greeks call hamartia. The tragic hero always has a flaw that leads to their downfall. Hamlet's fatal flaw is overthinking. He thinks so much, he doubts everything, himself, others, even the ghost. His hesitation gives Claudius time to plot against him. It leads to missed chances, terrible mistakes, and finally death. A fall from greatness. At the start, Hamlet is a royal, a scholar, a thinker. By the end, he is a broken man dying in a poisoned duel, watching his family and country collapse around him. Suffering and chaos. In a tragedy, the hero falls doesn't just hurt him, it destroys others too. Because of Hamlet's action and inactions, Ophelia dies, Gertrude dies, Laertes dies, Polonius dies. The whole royal family is wiped out. A moment of recognition, anagnorisis. Right before dying, the tragic hero usually realizes the truth. Hamlet finally understands that death comes for everyone and that no amount of thinking can stop it. When he says, "The rest is silence," it's not just about dying, it's about accepting that some questions have no answers. Catharsis for the audience. A tragedy is meant to make the audience feel sadness, fear, and then a kind of release. When we watch Hamlet suffer and fall, we feel his pain. We grieve with him. And somehow, it leaves us thinking about our own choices, our own doubts, our own short time on earth. In short, Hamlet fits the classical tragedy model almost perfectly. He is a great man undone by a small flaw. His fall is heartbreaking, and through his pain, we learn something about ourselves. At the end of Hamlet, the castle is silent. The royal family is gone. The air feels heavy with everything that could have been different, but wasn't. When I think about Hamlet, I think about all the times we hesitate, all the times we wonder if we are doing the right thing, all the times we feel lost in a world full of lies and half-truths. Maybe that's why Hamlet's story still speaks to us, because even today, we are all searching for answers that may never come. Did you find this summary and analysis of Hamlet useful and informative? If yes, please like the video and subscribe to my channel so that you get a notification whenever I upload a new book summary. Thanks for watching.